I'm now going to focus on pages 4 to 5, and in the upper left-hand corner of the left-hand page, we're going to create a banner symbol to sit behind the logo for Total Film Magazine, which at present is white and it's not legible. In order to do that, we're going to create two shapes and cut one out from the other. So if I pick up my zoom tool and zoom into that region so we can see it nice and clearly, I'll press the W key so I can see the area off the edge of the page and the guides. And I'm working still in the images layer. All other layers are locked. I'm going to pick up my rectangle tool this time by clicking and holding down on whichever tool is visible in the tools panel and then left click on rectangle. I'm going to make sure that the fill in this case is set to, I'm going to assign for now, hit the return key, and then we don't need a stroke, so I can scroll right to the top of the list and choose none and hit return. I'm going to hover my cursor just off the top of the page and left click and let go. And then we need to add for the width of this 17 millimeters, hit the tab key and then change the height to 27 millimeters. I'll click OK. I'm going to switch to my selection tool and then just drag this up until that reaches the bleed line on the top. I'm then going to click away and click and hold down and activate the polygon tool. This time I'm going to change the fill color to magenta just so we can see the difference between these two shapes. And again, hover over and left click. This shape needs to be 20 millimeters wide and 4 millimeters tall. And we're going to stick with side set to 3 and then click OK. I'll switch to my selection tool again and drag, and then just make sure that these two shapes are level with one another. So with the triangle selected, I'm going to shift and left click on the rectangle and then just make sure my selection mode is set to align to selection and then choose to align horizontal centers. So now they're perfectly aligned with one another. Then I'll click on my triangle and then tap the up cursor key on the keyboard just to the point where we lose the corners at the bottom of the blue shape. And then from here, if I press the W key, now we have a situation where we've got these two shapes sharing the same space on screen. There's an overlap. I'm going to go back and shift and left click on the rectangle to make sure both objects are active. Under the window menu, object and layout, we can go to a panel called Pathfinder. Within here, we can use what are called the Pathfinder options. So this will allow you to do things like merge two shapes together, or you can use the front objects to delete whatever's at the back. But the key thing is to have them selected and they have to overlap to interact. So in this case, if I choose subtract from selection, the shape that was at the front is deleted, as well as the area where they used to overlap. I'm going to unlock my text layer. If I click on the logo and then hover over and shift and left click on that banner, you're going to make sure that those two are aligned with one another and then click away. I'll lock my text layer once more. We'll come back to this shape later and recolor it. But that's how you can take two shapes, overlap them to either merge them together or delete them from one another.